So it's been about half a year since I got myself the veteran Sherman Max. And I've put about 5,000 kilometers on the clock. And this is not my first veteran Sherman lineup of wheels either. I've put over 15,000 kilometers on those wheels, which gives me a good idea what they're all about. And as much as I love their durability, their robustness, and well, a lot of things that I'm gonna tell you about in this video, maybe I will have to part my ways with it at some point. Is it now? Well, let's find out about that in this video. So hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. It's a very sunny and warm day here in Warszawa. Oh, in Poland. I'm flying my new Mustachio. Hope you like it. And it's time to talk about one of the wheels that I've always had in my wheel collection, the veteran Sherman Max. So before we get into the thoughts about should I keep it or should I change this wheel for a different one, first I want to tell you about what issues and what headaches I had with this wheel over the last 5,000 kilometers. So first of all, when it comes to faults and things that actually broke in this wheel, there wasn't a lot, and there was actually less than in my original veteran Sherman. I just needed to replace the bearings after 1,500 kilometers. Bearing problems are kind of common nowadays on EUCs. I've yet to experience a EUC which has flawless bearings for, I don't know, 5,000–10,000 kilometers. And apart from that, actually no problems whatsoever. I am riding it quite carefully. So I didn't bend the rim either. It's been actually pretty flawless with this wheel. I can't complain. Now I've put a lot of mods on this wheel. You can check out my mod video to see how I invested into this wheel and how I use accessories from companies that I worked with to make my life better with this EUC. But yeah, when it comes to just problems, nothing pretty much apart from those bearings. On the initial one I had problems with the BMS, not the case here. I've also came to appreciate some of the things that I didn't appreciate before on this wheel. First of all, the low foot plates that makes it have a very nice balance, be really stable, really comfortable to cruise around the city. Second of all, the trolley handle, which, I mean, it could be stiffer, but because of the balance of this wheel, it's just so easy to push this thing around. It's so much more difficult to push a wheel around in a store that has suspension like the S22, veteran Sherman S, veteran Patton, etc. I really like the modularity about it. I changed the lights and now I have decent lights. However, I mean, they should be like this from factory, like for example on the V13. And the range has been amazing. As much as on the V13 I look down and see, oh my god, will I have enough battery to get back home? On the Sherman Max I have like, oh my, I can ride a bit further even, and I have still a lot of battery left. The range on this thing I can easily top out at 130, 140 kilometers or more, depending on my riding style. I've really gotten a lot calmer with my riding style. I go between 20 and 40 kilometers an hour, and with the Sherman Max I have never range anxiety. Actually, it's almost a bit too much range than I use in everyday scenarios. But now let's go on to the things that make me think and question whether I should keep this wheel or invest in a long range EUC that has suspension. Well, first of all, I do miss suspension, and as much as I love riding around the city and I have no problems riding around the city on this wheel, going off-road is a bit of a pain in the butt. With a suspension wheel, I also don't need to be as concentrated on scanning the road in front of me, because if there's a pothole or if there's just bad surface, this is not the end of the day for me. I can just roll over it. While with a suspension wheel, even though I like the zippiness of it, I like the feeling that it has when riding, I need to be a lot more careful, especially off-road or on worse quality roads, in order not to bend the rim or just fall from the wheel. I would like to go on long cruises and never worry about the surface that I'm riding on. And as said, in Warsaw, in the city, I have no problems. But when we go somewhere further on a longer excursion with our group here, I start to get a bit tired when riding this wheel for over 100 kilometers. Now, it's fine and I can do it. It just could be more comfortable and I could do a lot more stuff with a suspension wheel. Second of all, the weight compared to the Sherman, the original Sherman, I can feel it slightly now. I can feel that it's not as light, not as, you know, nimble or less nimble in turns. And especially when taking this thing into a train or putting it into a car trunk, I can feel that it weighs 40 kilograms and I would like it to be lighter. When it comes to performance, there's no criticism here. I love the software of it, even though it could have less pedal dipping, and I love the torque, the speed. There's nothing in performance that I miss. It's a wheel that does a lot. However, I think that I could do even more with a suspension wheel. And here's the trick question, because currently on the market, I'm struggling to see something that I would really like to ride that has suspension and a battery of over 3,000 watt hours. The V13 is a short range wheel. I've tried it on several long range rides and pretty much I'm as well off riding an S22 Pro as the V13. The Sherman S does have suspension and does have a lot faster charging, which would be great for long rides. But sadly, the one unit that I had for testing broke, and I'm still waiting for fixing the battery on this thing, so it's gonna be still probably a month or two when I get my hands back on one. And the problem is with the Sherman S that it's a lot more difficult to push around stores. It's a lot bigger and I'm not really fond of the way it rides, but maybe it would have to be something that I get accustomed to. Now, after having a half a year break from Begode, I will be testing the Extreme and maybe I would be testing the EX30. Now, nothing is set in stone when it comes to the EX30. It is set in stone when it comes to the Extreme. And the EX30 seems to have a better balance with the batteries, lower down to the ground, but I would still need to check, you know, quality and safety and all of those stuff in order to have a wheel for myself that is as much all-purpose as the veteran Sherman Max. Of course, there's also the Master Pro, but I don't think I'm gonna be testing or getting my hands on one anytime soon. So with all of that said, the Sherman Max still stays in my EUC collection or in my EUC garage for now, as I don't see yet anything that would be so compelling to get in order to exchange for this veteran Sherman Max, because this is just so reliable. And even though sometimes I'm choosing the S22 Pro or the V13 to go on rides with the crew here in Warsaw, be it for the extreme sports factor of the S22 Pro or the lightness of it, or the comfort of the V13 with the bigger tire, I don't really ride the Pattern for now because it's vibrating again, so I'm not using that. So I'm not always using the Sherman Max as my daily, but it's always a backup that will pretty much always work whenever I want to have a wheel that works. And this was the, you know, merit of this wheel from the beginning. So for now, it's gonna stay. I don't know for how long. I don't know, you know, what it would be exchanged for, if it will be exchanged, if I even need a wheel with such long range. But yeah, I do like to have a long range wheel just in case. So this is the situation with my veteran Sherman Max, fully equipped, fully modded. I love the way it rides. I love what it does sort of in the use case that I have in my city, in my life. And maybe at some point, if a compelling wheel arises or I test something and come to the conclusion that yes, this is something that I need more than a Sherman Max, and it has as good braking capabilities, torque, and comfort and day-to-day practicality as this wheel, then I might change it. But for now, it stays, and we'll see what happens next. So if you're still here, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.